guys, welcome back to the channel. We're here for season 3 of Dr. Stone. Hopefully you guys are back from my breakdowns when it was season 2. So welcome back if you are back. And hello if you are new and you're finding me for the first time. I am Clockwork Noodles. I break down weekly anime on this show. We have done season 2, so if you are curious, go ahead and check that out. That should all be in a playlist. And I also broke down the OVA for you guys, so that's also there. Hopefully you guys worked out that you need to see the OVA before this. Picks up straight from the end of the OVA, straight into this episode. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Very excited to go back to the Stone world with you guys. Can't wait to see what shenanigans we get up to. Before we get going, do make sure you guys are subscribed. We are going to be breaking down Dr. Stone every single Wednesday because I've bumped it backwards because Ancient Magus Bride and Dr. Stone come out same day. Ancient Magus Bride begins with an A in alphabetical order. That has the Tuesday slot. You guys get the Wednesday slot. Without further ado, guys, I believe it's time to return to the Stone world. It feels like it's been a while, but I know it's not been that long since we last recapped with the Stone world. But it's always very excited to go back because it's a show that I'm very invested in. And if you're curious who my favourite character is, it is Ginro with his glasses. He is one of my favourites. At some point, I would very much like to cosplay him with the Suika head, the melon head that he has at one point. I'd like to do that version of him. The first episode is a nice full circle where we are returning to Ishigami Village. We get to show off our new addition, which is Ryusei. He's an interesting character because I see him as an Elon Musk of the world. I'm not a big fan of him in general as a person in the real world. Ryusei, I think he could take a bit of getting used to, but he's definitely a interesting character. And I think that with Dr. Stone, they do show a lot of different characters. Like, we're not just bringing back good people, we're just bringing back everybody. There's no judging about who you are, whether you're a bad person or not. It's gonna get interesting when you start bringing back criminals, people on death row. That would be interesting. I think Japan has the death sentence, can't remember. Interesting show because it does delve into philosophy at times, which is always fun to go into. But it does feel like a slight recap. And how I kind of feel like this episode runs is it's a time skip, but it's slowed down, but it also feels quite fast. The whole purpose of this segment is to show you progress whilst the boat is being built, and boats take a while. So I would be pretty angry if the boat suddenly just popped up and they'd made it. It does take time to make a boat. Filling up that time whilst we're here in the village, they do give a goal of about a year to 2 years, depending on whenever we find oil, so we can't really get moving just yet. The next goal on our big old trip is to head over to South America, which is going to be a fun one. The use of the OP, it does seem like we've got some fun new designs coming our way. I do want to cosplay from this show. I have seen some really good cosplays of mainly Tsukasa and some good Senkos as well. I haven't found one that I really want to make just yet. Obviously I want to do Ginro, but I'm not itching to make it. I have seen a design on the new team. I don't know if they're good or bad yet. Figure they're probably bad. I've seen a design that I'm kind of interested in, so I'd like to see a bit more of that. Hopefully that provides me with some inspiration to make something from Dr. Stone. We do get to touch base with everybody, see how our characters are doing. Obviously we've just merged the Tsukasa camp with the Senku camp. Now we've got a few more people floating around. We seem to have people a bit more scattered. We've got people back where Tsukasa's camp is. That turns into where the farmland is. Then you've still got Ishigami Village acting as more the team science base, so they're still acting from there. Now let's talk about the OP. I love the fact that it comes on Ryusei's command. So he clicks and goes, I can give you anything. And our new OP kicks in. And in true Dr. Stone style, it is groovy. It is awesome. It's got a bit of a sciencey feel to it. We've got those blue scientific equations that have basically been in every single OP so far. Very nice to keep something the same because the core of the show is science. I like the fact that it's in every single OP. Science is everywhere. All of our characters in their slides are looking forward. They're positive. Everything is nice and bright. I'm very excited for the new season. Can't wait to see what's going to happen because it also looks like we have some new villains. So following Tsukasa, Dead and Frozen, we go into some interesting characters who presumably are villains. They have got the purple background. Generally they use purple to show the evilly type. My boy Ginro looking very hot in his slide. The new villains, they all seem to have Sanji One Piece type curly eyebrows, which I appreciate, of course. But there are some interesting new designs, so I can't wait to see what the deal is. What are they up to? What is their motivation? Are they people who escaped the beam? Are they people who found nitric acids? Or are they new? Are they completely new and they don't like new people? I don't know. It could be quite interesting to see. Now, when the music kicks up a notch, that's also when we see our new villains, but we also get to see new designs and some very interesting combat. So we might be going into combat with these guys, which is going to be fun. That is our OP. I think it is cool. I think there's a lot going on. I like it. I do think the ED is a bit more snappier for me song-wise, but there's more going on in the OP. Oddly enough, Ryusei, our captain, that's going to be a weird one. I really hope I'm saying his name right. He is upset with fish. Doesn't quite make sense if you consider that he was a rich guy who spent a lot of time on yachts and I think living on seafood tends to be something that you see a lot with fine dining. I don't actually like seafood myself, but whenever I think like proper top-notch fresh fish, I always think of richer diets. But I guess Ryusei is just upset with how poorly it's been produced. Kind of makes sense. But it does provide the motivation he needs to go out and find some good food. And I like this because food would also be my motivation. Now, I don't know if they have teamed up with Minecraft, but it looks like Minecraft really, really badly. And whether it's a knockoff Minecraft, maybe, but it would be more fun for me to go, oh yeah, they teamed up with Minecraft. So if anyone does know if they did officially get Minecraft's permission to do this, do let me know, because I always like to see this kind of details, this information. It's always fun. I like it. It really does sometimes feel like with Dr. Stone, you are playing Minecraft. I would be all for it. If somebody knows if there's a skin out there or I guess a patch or a modded version of Minecraft, I would play that, because I have played the modded version. He had the mod and it had Ratlantis in it, so I have played a version of Minecraft where I went to Ratlantis, I was on the Flying Dutchman, there was cheese everywhere, and I absolutely loved it. So I'm a big fan of modded Minecraft, but I guess that's not how you're technically supposed to play for all the purists out there. But I had a great deal of fun, so that's all that matters. But everybody looks super duper cool in their Minecraft forms. I really want to play this. I really hope it's the case. They definitely need to go and find some chickens or some pigs, and hopefully there's no creepers floating around in their forest. Ryusei, he does show a warmer side. Obviously his thing is women, even if they are old, which I really like because he's not discriminating, which is great. He does calm down when he sees how happy the elderly are with a new food source, which is really nice because it does remind you that there's the small changes that can really mean a lot to people. Ryusei, all of the people from the modern world, they take this type of thing for granted. We're used to having the biggest variety of food available to us at any point in history. And if you were to go back to, say, the Tudor period, you're going to start limiting your palate down. And obviously in Senku's period, where there's nothing really around, you've got to live off the land, which is scary when you consider that Ishigami Village is said to be smaller than it was back in the day, and people are slowly dying, which is the seriousness of the story. Most of this episode is all about the importance of agriculture and food, which I can really get behind. It's nice to see that Ryusei does have a nicer side to him, because obviously his motivation is to make sure no women cry. But at the same time, it's all about money. I'm meant to be one of those characters where his purpose serves our needs, but at the same time, he's not doing it for perhaps the purest reasons. But if he is also working towards the end goal, you kind of have to roll with it. So we're going to roll with it. He's an interesting character. I enjoy more morally grey characters. They're a lot more interesting to sometimes pick apart. But it is interesting to see how quickly we start making progress when we have a balloon and we start making maps. And it's great to see how quickly things start to speed up. Interesting to see that there's wild crops growing, because of course we are very agriculture based anyway. And if we suddenly just froze today, those crops are going to keep growing and growing. Obviously they're going to get overgrown and you're probably going to get a lot of weeds in the crops. But theoretically, through pollination and all those bugs, there should still be crops floating around, even from that modern day period. They'll just have evolved, or they'll be different from what we're used to, because I'm pretty sure with even history where they find seeds in jars in a grave in Rome or Egypt, they're always slightly different plants than what we're used to, which is very fascinating. It's why I find history absolutely fascinating. But it does feel like this episode is quick time skip, but at the same time it's a slow time skip, waiting for this boat to be done. And at the same time, they're not just sitting around doing nothing. They're trying to sort out the food. They're trying to sort out something that is going to provide a future for everybody, because food is one of the most key things. It's great to see them getting down to it and not just basically having a montage and skipping ahead, because this kind of thing is very important and fascinating. It's also very interesting because obviously we've got Vinland Saga this season, which is dealing with farming. Interesting to see farming rearing its head once more in a different anime, shown in a bit more of a cartoony style. Just fascinating to see how food shortages were the reason why Ishigami Village was shrinking, but that's also now the reason why we can't bring back every new statue, because we don't have enough food. It shows how everything is connected, and there's always these repeating patterns in history that food is very important, and if you don't have enough, people start to shrink, people start to starve. I find things like this very fascinating to look at growth and patterns when it comes to history. Absolutely love the fact that Yo and Magma are now just rivals of the funnest kind. Watching those two go head to head, trying to get that idea of a title. Really liked it. I really like how those two just gel together, and it's sometimes nice to see certain characters gelling where you wouldn't expect them to be gelling. I also think Taiju and Nikki have quite a nice little relationship going as well. Very fun to see the two going head to head, and also reusing information that we were given from Senku back with the clamshell thing. Taiju remembers it. He doesn't quite remember why the science was there, but he remembers it to neutralize the acidity of the soil, which is really, really good. I'm happy that Taiju becomes king of farming because he's a very good muscle man. He reminds me a little bit of Aina from Vinland Saga, how quick he is to get through the soil. Aina's the one who has the background in farming. Making some nice little Vinland Saga snaps there because, of course, I'm breaking down both on my channel if you are curious to go check out the Vinland Saga stuff. But it feels like a very slow time skip, but it's very, very important. Very nice episode to get us off the ground. I really enjoyed it. It was fun. It was touching base. The ED I like. It has a nice guitar riff to it. It's English, then it goes into Japanese mix. Really like it. It is a credit roll kind of scenario going on where you've got your character silhouettes against the pattern background, and then it turns into watercolours. Watercolours are very, very nice. I think it does follow suit when it comes to Dr. Stone EDs. The chorus is very nice. It's really catchy. We go from cold colours into warm colours as the sun comes up. Every character has their own colours associated with them. Really like it. It's nice at the end when we get the last chunk, when we have the modern villagers not able to eat the bread that they've burnt, but seeing again the people who aren't used to having that palate accepting anything. It's a fun crunchy thing. I don't care if it tastes like burntness. I like it. Very, very nice because again it shows you how people appreciate things. They definitely state that the next thing they need to do is find a pro chef, and all that really reminds me of is Don't Starve. And it's a fun game, but it's really brutal. And it's always fun because there's a character, it begins with W. There's a character beginning with W who is actually a pro chef. He has his own little crock pot. He's quite the fuss eater, so it makes it difficult to play the game, but it is fun because, again, you have a crock pot to hand, so you can make better food. It just reminds me of Don't Starve and Minecraft. Very good episode. Very excited to get back to the Stone world. Hope you guys are looking after yourselves. I will see you guys again next Wednesday. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.